I'd like to begin with a quote from Osho. It's on love and meditation. Love means the art of being with others. Meditation means the art of being with yourself. These are two aspects of one coin. A person who does not know how to be with himself cannot truly relate with others. And the person who is not capable of being with others will find it difficult to relate with himself, because the art of relating is the same. Whether you relate with others or you relate with yourself does not make much difference. It is the same art. Both of these arts have to be learned together. Relate with people as if you are singing a song or playing a piano. Each person has to be thought of as a musical instrument. Let every person feel that the meeting with you is a gift. Just being with you, something starts flowing, growing. Some song starts arising in the heart. Some flowers start opening. And when you are alone, then sit utterly silent, absolutely silent, and watch yourself, watch your breathing, watch your thoughts, watch your memories. Watch yourself in your totality without interfering, simply watching. And slowly, slowly, by watching one's breathing, by watching one's thoughts, by watching one's memories, slowly, slowly, a great awareness explodes inside you. One becomes full of light within. That is the art of meditation. So remember both. Just as a bird has two wings, let love and meditation be your two wings. They are not in any way in conflict with each other, but helping each other. This is going to be the future, the next step for human beings, this coming together of love and meditation.
Swami Anand Subhuti, thank you for being here, and thank you for love and meditation put together. And I feel that I can fly only with two wings. So Osho was a remarkable personality who tried to see the whole picture, not only just a wing.
Yeah, his basic criticism of religion in a historical context is that it cut man in two pieces. You could either be spiritual or you could be material. You could not be both. And what Osho says is the time has come, we have grown enough, we have become mature enough to have both together.
Yes, and I think this kind of movement is very dangerous for our society, who want us to live in a schizophrenic way, in a split positions.
Yeah, it creates a very negative attitude towards life. Because in a sense you are always postponing and condemning the body, condemning sexuality, condemning even love, human love, as a sacrifice for the greater love of God or heaven or these kinds of things.
Yes, the sacrifice is not necessary. We have nothing to sacrifice but our life in its entire way.
Certainly sacrifice is not something Osho recommends.
Yes, yes, and he was loving, he was joyful, he was always telling jokes, he was dancing, he was singing, and you was there.
Yeah, I mean, I think his great contribution in a way to our general understanding of religion and spirituality is he created a situation. He didn't just talk about it. He meant business. He created a situation in which we could come and explore both. So he was basically, I mean, it was the only ashram in India that in the 70s that I know of, and maybe still, where sex, love and meditation happened together.
Yes, this is the experiential level.
Yeah.
I was reading in your book, and this is a remarkable book, and starting from the title, you see, My Dance with the Madman.
Yes.
And who is telling this? A disciple telling about his master.
Yes.
What is this madness of Osho?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's a little difficult to convey, but he called himself a madman.
He calls himself?
Yes, because basically he's trying to take people out of the prison of the intellect. He wanted people to get into their energy. He wanted people to be, to throw off the civilization, which was keeping us repressed, cutting our energy. In a way, every society wants to tame people and keep them
in the boxes.
Keep them in the boxes because that's where they're useful and productive. And he was basically trying to get us out of the box into our total energy. And of course, some of that energy is sexual, some of that energy is emotional. And his vision was that when these energies are free and moving, and then you come to meditation, then there's so much more energy available.
Then you come to meditation, no before.
Yeah, Zorba and then Buddha. Zorba the Greek. Zorba the Greek and Gautam the Buddha. So Zorba the Greek dances and frees his energy, and then you come to meditation, and there's so much more passion then for silence, for inner growth.
Yes, and you as a successful journalist, political journalist, in a very nice box.
I was in a very nice box, yes.
Okay, what was happening there? So you become crazy, or what? How to go and meet Osho?
I guess I got tired of the box. You know? I mean, I was very, very excited to be a political journalist in England. I was working in the Houses of Parliament, in the Palace of Westminster. I was going to Downing Street, meeting the Prime Minister. It all sounded very important, you know, some economic crisis, some political crisis, some big meeting with the President of the United States. You know, you get this feeling that you're so important. But then when you when you have a sense of who you are, independent of all, if you take all that away, I didn't feel that I was actually in touch with myself at all. Not with my heart, not with my feelings, not with my... In a way, my body was just something to carry my head around, and my head was in service of the society. So I was a happy little slave, if you like, of the newspaper.
And this thing, I think it's common. We are plus or minus feel the same in the same way.
We are either miserable slaves or happy slaves.
Happy. We prefer happy slaves, but still slaves.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, but in that time, I think you have lots of choices about meeting people who are not in the box. Why? Why Osho? Well, it is a stupid question. Osho, because it was your destiny, maybe.
Maybe, but I mean, the '60s revolution created the whole hippie movement of the '60s, the sexual revolution, the freedom and love, and enjoy yourself now because you don't know about tomorrow. And I think that opened up the whole horizon of spirituality. So suddenly, I mean, you remember the Beatles, or you know about the Beatles. They all went to India.
Yes.
Because they took certain kinds of LSD and other drugs which gave them certain kind of experience. They then looked for that experience beyond the drug experience. And that's why they ended up in India with the Guru Maharishi.
Yes.
And so that started a big invitation, if you like, that Western people wanted couldn't get enough of these Indian mystics, these gurus, these teachers, and in among that whole cooking pot, I found Osho.
What is, if you may share with us, the first moment when you feel the fire in the ashram or with Osho?
It wasn't so much, first thing I heard him in discourse. We were sitting in a little auditorium in a beautiful garden, and he came in and he talked. I liked what he said, but I thought, okay,
just okay.
Sounds okay.
No.
And then in the evening, you could go and meet him personally.
Yes.
And I remember walking around the corner, and he was sitting in a little marble porch in the garden, and it was kind of these warm Indian nights, and the crickets were, and the night birds were calling, and it was all very...
It sounds like a paradise, so Eden, the Garden of Eden.
Kind of. Of course, you don't think about the mosquitoes.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, I walked around the corner. He was sitting in his chair, and I thought, he's got it. He's got what He's got what I'm looking for. That's it. And that was the first time in my. I'd read about Gautam Buddha. I'd read about, of course, Jesus Christ had been pushed down my throat, whether I liked it or not. And Lao Tzu and all of these people, and you think, well, where's the guy now?
Our guy.
Where's our guy?
The leading guy.
And I looked at the ones who were coming to the West, and I thought, okay, yeah, they have something, but not quite. But when I saw him, I thought, yeah, he's got it. Now let's see if I can get it from him.
Yes, and you're still critical attitude. Let's see if I can get it from him.
Yeah.
And you are.
I'm still working on that.
Oh, I think this is innate in the European mind. This criticism. So he accepted you as a sannyas?
He basically accepted anybody.
Anybody.
His door was wide open.
Yes.
He said, anyway, you're all taking sannyas for the wrong reason, so there's no point in waiting, you know. You don't really know you don't really know the experience that I'm offering, so how can you be initiated for the right reasons? But anyway, it's fine with me. I haven't come all the way to India not to be a disciple, you know. I've come here to experience what India and what Osho has to offer. So I was totally ready for it.
And the encounter groups was something remarkable in this landscape.
Something extraordinary then and now.
I read a little bit, and maybe you explain us what was happening there. But it is pure psychology, pure experiential psychology there, as I see it. Basically,
you're taking the lid off the pressure cooker. You know, you're saying what he was saying is you have repressed your sexuality, you have repressed your anger. You know, you think you're civilized, but it's all cooking under there, and I can't really work with you until you blow that.
Yes, this is a Freudian approach.
Is it?
Yes.
I didn't know. I thought Freud said you had to sit on it.
No, you have to be in touch with it. To express this. It was the period in the psychoanalysis process when everybody gets mad.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. In a different way, I think, on the couch.
Well, on the couch, but in our daily life.
Okay.
Yes, but it's about madness.
So basically, we all went down into this soundproof room underground and screamed and shouted and hit each other with pillows and did all kinds of other things that probably I won't talk about on television.
Because we are still
civilized.
Yes, we are civilized. We are splitting. So rest in peace in our split.
No, also sexuality. We were making love with each other. We were screaming at each other. It was a madhouse. But that's what he wanted. That's why I said it was my dance with a madman. Because when you come through that, then things begin to settle. But more in terms of you are in touch with your energy, you're in touch with your feelings, and you're in touch with your heart, which is very important.
In a secure environment in a way, because Everybody knows the rule. We cannot do this in our daily society, let's say, because
yeah, but we did do it in India outside the ashram.
Oh,
that was. I mean, I think we have to say thank you to the Indian tradition of tolerance, especially the Hindu approach to life, because we were really bad. We would walk around half naked. We would, you know, kiss and hug in the streets, which was unthinkable in India.
Unthinkable.
In India, you don't even hold hands with your wife in public in India.
Wow, so big contrasts.
Oh, totally. So we were very lucky that they didn't.
17th, 18th, it was the period?
70s.
70s.
76 to 81. This was the period when we were really a major pain in the ass for India.
Yeah. But Osho became, in the last period of his life, a persona non grata for how many governments?
21 countries.
21 countries.
Would not let him in. Of course, India had no choice, because he's Indian. But they did try to stop us from reaching him. After, this was later, when the American government was putting pressure on the Indian government. They did.
Wow. This was a
for a while they tried to, but then we just said, hey, we're tourists going to Goa.
Tourists, yes.
So what can you do? You know, and then we just did make a left turn and go to Pune instead of Goa.
Yes, we may understand that this freedom of ourselves, it is dangerous for the good order of every system. So it is not easy to manage. But let's go back in the 70s. So you was a the press officer in Pune.
Yeah.
Yes. For.
I think just on that point you mentioned, I think no society wants you to be intelligent. And no society wants you to think for yourself, and no society wants you to be a rebel.
Yeah.
And the truth is, when you are really in touch with your own authenticity, you are intelligent, you question everything, and you're a rebel. So that's the whole effort, of course, unconsciously or sometimes consciously, of society, is to keep you in the box. So you don't think for yourself, and you never get out of the box.
Because Einstein, for example, it was a rebel. But look what was happening from Einstein to quantum physics.
Yeah.
And so we need this kind of rebellion in order to grow. So it's a positive thing. It is not a chaotic
No, but
movement.
it explains why society is scared of people like Osho. And why it basically is... People didn't really understand what he was doing. And this was why I was working in the press office, because every day in the newspapers in India and in Europe and in America, we were getting articles about this sensational ashram in Pune, where all these crazy things are happening. And my job, as a journalist, was to try and explain to them what was really going on.
Yeah.
And
a kind of translation.
Yes. It was an uphill task. I don't know that they ever really understood. And if they were really nasty, then my job was to be as nasty to them. So Osho was really using my journalistic skills, because a political journalist, as you know, can be very nasty. So he was even using my journalistic sarcasm as a weapon. So I was kept busy in the press office.
Friday, it was a massacre day.
This was later.
Sorry. So let's come in chronological order, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
You go with Osho in America, in Oregon.
Yeah.
He was there in 80.
He went there in 81, and he was thrown out in 1985. 4.5 years, basically. The main reason there were two reasons we went to America. One was his body was very fragile, and his disciples felt that he would get better quicker in America. The climate in India is very harsh on the physical body. And the other thing was we couldn't buy, because of the very complicated land laws in India. Every square meter is owned by 16 cousin brothers. you know, and then none of them agree and none of them are talking to each other, and anyway foreigners come buy property and da-da-da. In the 70s, it's easier now, but in the 70s. So we took him to America and we bought 100 square miles of ranch in
100
Oregon.
square miles?
120 square miles.
Wow, it was
big.
Big.
It was a big ranch in eastern Oregon. Cattle ranch, really.
And a lot of money to pay for this.
A few $1 million, yeah.
Some $1 million.
But of course it had very little, so we had to build the city, we built the town. Plumbing, water supplies, electricity, washing machines.
From zero, from ground zero.
Basically from zero.
Yes. And the roads also.
And the roads, yeah, I forgot the roads.
But this is a bit, this
yeah, I was driving a truck, you know, the red tarmac was going out the back. We made the roads red.
Oh, just the red roads.
Yeah, because then we were all red, wearing red, so we made the roads
the
red.
red road journey, this is very, very Native American, yes.
Yeah. And so we built everything, and that was what we did there.
And lots of people join this Rajneesh city?
Yeah,
yes.
It was, I think the population went maybe as high as 3,000 at one point.
3,000?
Probably.
And everything was okay, and it was a joyful city, that kind of society that we are wanted?
Yeah, I think it succeeded to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, yes.
It was an interesting experiment in creating a society where everybody was friendly with each other, everybody was meditating together, everybody was celebrating together. So it was very unique and also very scary for a lot of people in America.
Very scary because?
I think the tragedy at Jonestown, where that Christian community committed suicide
yes.
In Guyana, was a very big trauma to America. And so there was always the suspicion that this would happen again, or the fear that this would happen again. And also, Osho was saying so many provocative things.
Yeah.
He was basically saying that Christianity is third-rate fiction. It's just a bunch of fairy stories.
But why? Why? Because this is an important thing.
Yeah, it is.
Why?
Okay. The way Osho said, Osho said this: if I simply would teach people meditation, everybody would love me. Yeah, it wouldn't be a problem. But if I just teach you meditation, nothing is going to change in you, because you are so full of beliefs. And if you believe, you already know what spirituality is. If you believe in heaven, if you believe in hell, if you believe that Jesus Christ is the only begotten Son of God, these beliefs are going to stand in the way of your experience, because meditation is the method to go beyond all beliefs and all thinking and all thought to that place inside you where you can actually experience nothingness and silence. So I have to attack your beliefs. That's what he said.
Attack any kind of beliefs?
Any kind of beliefs, even a belief in him.
Oh, this is, as Gautam the Buddha said.
Yeah, don't believe in me.
Question anybody, starting from me.
That's what Gautam Buddha said. If you see me on the road, kill me immediately.
So may I do the same thing in a way and ask, why was so fragile the body of Osho? What was happening? Because I was thinking, he died on a young age. It was very pity. Why?
I don't really know, to be honest. He did say a number of things. He said that when a person becomes enlightened, it's very difficult to keep the connection with the body. He suffered from asthma. He suffered from diabetes.
Oh.
So he had a number of ailments, and of course he never moved. He never took exercise.
Why? Oh, it was. Well, I understand, but you see, my ego.
He was a lazy. He said, "I'm a lazy man." You know,
and
I
he
just
accepted like this.
And I think in earlier years he was very active, but then he became just
not,
completely
yes.
inactive. They say that he was given a Swiss watch, where the movement winds
yes,
the watch,
yes,
and the watch stopped because he didn't move enough.
He also has another watch, $1 million watch.
Several.
Several. So
Yeah,
maybe we'll. What is this? Because it came into my mind now. With the Rolls Royce, with the watches.
He had 93 Rolls Royces at the end.
This is a kind of attacking the belief in money, in the power of money, or.
I think he wanted to drive America crazy. I think he wanted to, and he also wanted to make it impossible for people to defend him rationally. So the thing was, it wasn't only the Christians and the extremists and the fundamentalists who were attacking him. In the end, even the liberals could not defend him, because how can you defend a guy with 93 Rolls Royces? So in fact, he succeeded in making everybody, unless you said to yourself, okay, I'm going to stick with this guy no matter what he does, it was impossible to be with him.
It was always a challenge, and it was difficult to negotiate in yourself with this.
Impossible. You couldn't. No negotiation was was possible.
There was several times when you feel it was enough. So much. Can you share with us an interaction of this kind with fire, with Osho, of yourself with Osho?
Do you have one in mind? I mean, so many times I thought I have to get out of here, you know.
Yes.
And I think the last time was at the end of the ranch when everything blew up. You know, when I discovered that we were not just the good guys, that we were also the bad guys. We had been doing things. Not I had not been doing things, but things had been done. And my ultimate frame was that they don't understand Osho, so that's why they behave like that. But we are the good guys. And then it turned out we were not just the good guys. You know, there had been some criminal activity among a few people on the ranch. And then it was like, I've got to get out of here, you know.
Yes.
But then the interesting thing was, at that very moment, he got arrested and deported.
Because of that criminal activity?
No, they were determined to get him out of America, whether he was involved in criminal activity or not. They wanted him out of America.
Okay, so, but it was in a legal way? They tried to find something legal?
Yes, they tried. Eventually, first of all, he was arrested and kept in jail for 12 days, and then they said...
And moved from jail to jail?
Yes, I think 5 jails in 12 days or something.
Okay.
And then they said to him and to his lawyers, look, we are going to accuse you of immigration fraud.
Oh.
So either you can go to trial and you have to come to the trial every day, or you can do a plea bargain and you can leave. And so they did a plea bargain and he left. He said, it's no good staying here because they won't let me do my work. I will be involved in trial procedures and we might as well. So he agreed to a plea bargain and he left.
Yes.
And at that point I thought, well, there's no point in me leaving because everybody else is leaving, so I'll just stay on the ranch.
Yeah, you think to stay on the ranch?
I stayed for another 4 or 5 months.
But what was happening with the ranch after you leave?
We basically stripped it and sold everything.
Sold everything?
Yeah, we packed it up.
Okay, but the land is still owned by Osho?
No. The land went back to the mortgage company, and then somebody else bought it. So it was finished. That was a very strong experience to basically take down and sell everything that we had built up.
Oh.
But that's very similar in a way to many things that disciples have done in the past with masters. You know, these like Milarepa, the famous Tibetan Buddhist. His master, I think it was Marpa, made him build.
The translator, yes.
Made him build a house 7 times, and every time he said, "Take it down."
Yes.
So I mean, these experiences all have a strong teaching value, I think.
Values. Wow. So about the fire that burns you in relation with Osho.
Yeah.
So he told you that the gates are closed for you?
Yes.
Because?
Okay, I had a strong habit of seeking negative attention. I'm sure as a psychologist you understand that. I don't know where I got it from, probably from my family upbringing, that I had this thing that I have to provoke.
To provoke.
And,
but Osho was provoking.
Yeah,
this is
but I was
Osho
provoking
style.
the provoker.
Yeah.
So, for example, one of the first things I did when I became a disciple, I wanted to see how he would react. So I wrote a very negative article about him. It's not in the book. I was too embarrassed to put it in the book, but I'll tell you. I wrote a very negative article about him, and I sent it in for him to read.
So you was criticizing him,
Yeah, I was
on different levels.
I was making him look like a cheap imitation guru.
Oh,
it was like my journalist.
beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. The thing was, I guess I had some Christian idea in my mind that he would turn the other cheek, you know, like Jesus says.
Yes.
Like, might say, this is good, this is your negativity, you need to meditate more, go and do dynamic meditation or something like this.
Yeah.
And he came back, he said, the message he passed out. First of all, his caretaker said you spoiled his lunch when he read it.
Oh, so that kind, you have a power in your...
And then he said, tell Subhuti, you will be doing everyone a favor if you drop being a disciple.
It was a beautiful formula still.
But it was like, I slapped him and he slapped me back.
Yes.
And if this is something that I heard Osho talk about, you know Nietzsche, you've heard of Nietzsche, of course. Nietzsche says that I cannot forgive Jesus for turning the other cheek because you are showing him your superiority. You are not meeting him equal. So Nietzsche says if somebody slaps you on the cheek, you have to slap them back, and that's what he did. And I thought, oh, this is not Jesus. This guy is not Jesus. He is something unique to himself.
This is Zorba. I think Zorba respond in the same level to you. Something
like that.
This is very psychological, very therapy systemic psychological. Yes.
So he put me in a very intense situation, and I had to look at, well, do I really want to be his disciple?
Yeah.
And of course I did. So I wrote to him and said, you know, I'm very sorry and I won't do it again. But old habits die hard, you know. So there were other occasions when my journalistic mind would enter, and I would get into that mindset. And it happened. The one you're thinking of was just in the year before he died, in 1989. He was. Somebody said read him a quote. About how an enlightened master has to tell lies. And we had been using this in a way which was not exactly true. Because what Osho was saying is the truth cannot be said. And we were, in a way, this other guy and myself, we were saying, well, okay, sometimes he lies, you know, that's what he does. And he made this, I was not there, but he made this guy stand up in the discourse and said, did you say this? And it was quite a strong experience, obviously, for him, but I wasn't there. And then at the end of the discourse, he said, and Subhuti is not here, and so the gates are closed. And I was in California having a hernia operation on my stomach. And when I heard it, I actually called somebody in Pune and said, look, the reason I'm not there is not because I'm feeling negative, but because I'm having an operation, you know. And so they went and told Osho, and he laughed. And he said, I just wanted to check to see that he wasn't up to his old tricks.
Yes.
And that was very sweet.
Yeah.
So this kind of game went on between us. I think he was very good at meeting people in their own energy.
in their own energy.
Like, for example, if you met Osho, it would be a totally different experience.
Yes.
Because he would see you as a unique human being and would respond to you exactly according to that. So if he's faced with a stupid English journalist who has a cynical mind that he can't control, he's going to deal with him in that way.
Yeah.
So it was very unique. I mean, if he had said to other people what he said to me, they would have died out of, you know, like somebody who was in a deep love with him. But I had such a thick head that he could hammer me, and it didn't really make that much difference.
So he was giving to each one of you and of us the amount of energy that they can manage.
Yeah,
that you
not
can
just
manage.
the amount, but the quality.
The quality, yes.
Quality.
The quality.
Yeah.
Before I would like to ask you about your name,
yeah.
allowed me first of all to express my gratitude, a big thanks to Alexandra Iliescu, who
Yes.
and to the Center Seeds for Happiness.
Thank you, Alexandra.
Who allowed us to be here and allowed me to know you, and I'm grateful. It is, you see, I feel the taste of the joy of a meeting, and here I don't care that it is recording. I care that I'm with you.
Yes.
Of course, I care that it is recording. My ego cares, but still. And allowed me to offer you from Herald Publishing House.
Yes.
Even though it is in Romania, and it is a book about the children, about parenting and education. Good friends and hard enemies. I think you will speak some Romanian after.
Okay, good. I look forward to the experience. Okay.
Yes. And now let's come back about your name. So Swami Anand Subhuti.
Yeah.
Why this name?
Okay. So all the men who came to Osho to be initiated were called Swami. It was a mark of respect that you had somehow entered the spiritual journey. Anand means bliss, and this was like, in a way, a prefix. Many people were called Anand, many people were called Prem, depending on what quality he saw. But it wasn't the real name. The real name was the last name. So he gave me the name Subhuti. And he said to me, as I sat in front of him and he initiated me, he put a mala, wooden beads around my neck and touched me on the forehead. And then he said, this is your name, Swami Anand Subhuti. Subhuti was the name of Buddha's chief disciple. So immediately he got my attention.
Yes.
You know, it's like, oh, chief disciple, you know, I'm going to be somebody important, you know. He said, the meaning of the word is well known. And he looks at me and says, world famous. You like that kind of thing, you know? It's like, you like that? It's like, yeah, fantastic, you know, because I think he saw in me somewhere the need for recognition. You know, that I was still very much looking outside myself for recognition, public recognition. And then he said, have you read my book, which was, the title was, And the Flowers Showered. It's a beautiful Buddhist story. And I said, no. And he said, the first story is about Subhuti. So now you read it tomorrow. You get the book and you read it. And I said, fine, sure. So then I got the book and read the story about Subhuti, who was one of Buddha's disciples. And the whole thing turned on its head, because Subhuti was a complete nobody. There were thousands of disciples with Gautam Buddha, and nobody knew he was there. Nobody knew his name. There were many famous people there, important people, but nobody knew him. But what he understood was that when you dissolve all your relationships and really become nobody, you disappear inside into that inner emptiness and become awakened in silence and emptiness and in nobodiness. So when Osho said he was his chief disciple, he meant only because he became enlightened. and that before you become enlightened, you have to drop all this nonsense about wanting to be somebody.
Yes.
So that was his message. So first he puffed up my ego, and then he destroyed it. So it was a tricky business being a disciple of Osho.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And now you are worldwide traveler and
Yes.
worldwide good known person.
Yeah,
you are the Subhuti, yes. And you published another book.
Yes, it's fiction.
The Last White Man. It is fiction. And can you tell us some words, something
okay.
about the two books?
Very
yes.
simply.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, very simply. This is the path of meditation.
Yeah.
And this is a story which is a love story.
Yeah.
And this one I wrote first, which is my story of my life with Osho, and how I went through a personal process of transformation. And then what I thought, how would it be if I wrote about personal transformation through love? Not through becoming a disciple of a master, but through falling in love with a beautiful woman. So this story is about the same kind of guy. It's an Englishman, a bit like me, who meets a beautiful Indian woman and goes through a process of transformation with her. So one is fact, one is fiction.
But both of them are about transformation and love.
Yeah, because it is a love affair with a master and a disciple.
Yeah, but it is remarkable because when we think of love, we don't think about this kinds of interaction that you're talking about rejection in a way, negative attention, and what you was doing with Osho.
I'm not sure. I think a lot of love affairs have these qualities.
Yes, but it is as if we prefer to be a kind of I don't know, celestial love, something very soft, very.
Yes.
But those are, I think, the count of burning loves, which transform us.
Yes. For sure, this whole idea of this kind of pure love that is kind of out of the body and higher in some astral planes of existence is not what Osho is about. It's got to be down to earth, and it has to be full of energy, and including physical energy and emotional energy and sexual energy and heart energy. So it's very down to it's very human.
Very human.
He wants humans to be human beings. He doesn't want them to be angels.
Not to go in retreat, for example. To be in the society, very human with all the daily difficulties.
Yes, exactly. You bring meditation into daily life. You don't escape to a cave in the Himalayas.
You was there when Osho passed away?
Yes, I was.
I was looking on internet on the movie "I Leave You My Dream."
Yes.
It is very touching.
Yes.
It was the person, the chief disciple with the beard, who tell the story of the last minutes of Osho. I don't know his name.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't his chief disciple.
Okay.
It was just one of his disciples.
One of his disciples. Very touching.
Yes.
He was trying not to cry. And the other ones were make like this, and he was laughing again. Cry and laughter.
Yes. That's an experience we all had at that time, because on the one hand we were losing somebody who was incredibly dear to us, and on the other hand, those of us who had somehow managed to connect with him beyond the body, which is something he wanted, could still feel his presence. So in a way he had gone, and in a way he was still with us. So it was a unique kind of celebration. It was, on the one hand, a lot of tears and a lot of laughter.
So you felt this kind of total experience. Laughter.
It was a very strong experience.
And how long do you remain there after his passing away?
I never really left.
You never.
I still go to Pune every year. It's still for me the best place in the world to meditate. And I think as long as I need to be supported by some environment of meditation, I think for me Pune is still the best place.
It is Pune from 2014 now.
Yeah,
it is the same Pune as it was in back in.
No, it's totally changed. But the quality of meditation and the support for having the experience of meditation is still the same. So I would encourage people, if they are looking for somewhere to experience meditation, I think Pune is as good as anywhere.
I don't know nothing about how can I go there, but I heard somebody that said it is very expensive now.
It is.
If we will put comparison with other kinds of environment, because of course Pune is Pune, but still it is very expensive.
It is.
For Romania, for example. Why is this?
I think it's the way it went.
It's become expensive. Yeah. It's become expensive.
Yeah. India has many ashrams, and they're very cheap. And some you don't pay. Others, there are also other Osho meditation centers in India which are more cheap. But I think they
there are other Osho meditation centers.
Yeah, many. In India there are many. Yeah, he's very big in India still. But Pune went into the high end of the market. They wanted to create a very high standard of luxury, of hygiene, aesthetic, waterfalls and beautiful trees and marble pathways. And
so it's a 5-star ashram, let's say.
It's a 5-star. It is. It's a 5-star ashram, and you have to pay 5-star prices.
5-star. Now, if you agree, what was happening with you, Subhuti, after Osho passed away? So you never leave Pune, but still, what you're doing from?
I moved between India and Europe now. I'm in the winter time. I'm in India, mostly in Pune, but also Goa, sometimes in the Himalayas.
In the Himalayas?
Yeah.
In the Tibetan environment?
In the Tibetan part, Dharamsala, but also Manali, Rishikesh, these many places, many beautiful places in the Himalayas. And then in the summertime I come to Europe, and mainly in the United Kingdom and in Denmark.
And you are...
by the way, there's a big Osho community in Denmark.
In Denmark?
Called Osho Risk. And that might be easier for some people to go to than Pune.
Denmark, yes. And you will never come back to your profession of journalist?
No. Please, that would be the end. Because it's the mind. It's intellect, it's sarcasm, cynicism. Journalists, one of the things that happens to a lot of journalists is they become very cynical and very life negative.
Life negative.
It's not a healthy profession.
Yeah, it's not a healthy. So,
I think it's interesting for a while. If you're young and it's exciting, I think by all means be a journalist, but don't stay in the profession too long. It's not healthy.
You see, I'm asking the following question from the box.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Are you in a box?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't look like you're in a box.
Thank you. And we are all in the box of the TV now.
Yes, right, we are.
Yes. So it is very attractive, those kind of experience. So it's a kind of a myth. So I leave my city, go in the world and find the richness and the diversity of the world, and afterwards I come back in the same place where I was in the first place, in fact. Okay. This is a kind of the hero's adventure.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to eat if I quit my profession? Those are some important issues in my mind.
You know what? You know George Gurdjieff?
Yes.
He was an Armenian mystic. He said, when you enter the spiritual path, You have to be able to earn your living with your left little toe.
Oh, the left, not the right.
No, I think it's the left one, but the right will do. In other words, you have to be creative and find a way that you can make money, as everybody has to do.
Yes.
And still have time and space to pursue meditation and your spiritual quest. I'm not saying it's easy, and I feel very grateful that I have managed to do that. So I'm basically make my living as a ghostwriter. I help other people write books.
Oh.
That's my profession.
So in fact it is related with journalism and your skills?
Yes. As writing, I've always had I've always had some kind of gift for writing, so.
This is creative, and you can manage your time.
So far so good, shall we say. If you see me back on the Times of London sometime, you think, Subhuti, you had to go back.
And you are also going in different places and giving some Osho style workshops.
I was very lucky because Alexandra Iliescu, she invited me to Bucharest and arranged for a workshop, so I came.
This is the first time here in Romania?
Yeah, my first time in Romania.
Oh, I'm so happy.
I didn't come with Prince Charles or Prince Harry. I would have if I'd been a journalist. I would have. I would have come in the old days.
I make a connection now. You directly know the congressman in America who destroyed Osho, or who was?
I met President Ronald Reagan in the White House.
In the White House.
We didn't have much of a discussion. It was a different kind of occasion, but we did meet. Yeah, he was an asshole.
Wow. This is a provocative.
I can't help it. I have to tell the truth.
Yes, the truth burns us and releases us. This is
no, compared to someone like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, he has some intelligence, and I think Barack Obama also. These men have some intelligence, but Ronald Reagan was just a cowboy actor.
Look, our producer said that we only have 3 minutes.
Okay.
This picture was on the right time to give us the taste of the truth.
Yeah, okay, I hope so. Yeah.
Yes, it was beautiful for me to feel this kind of energy of your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Shall we end in the same way as we begin?
Yeah.
I will go to the piano and sing I don't know what, and you will tell to the people you don't know what.
Yeah, I'm tempted to read the same thing again because I'm sure it will sound different now.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Allowed me to.
Yes. So this is a quote from Osho on love and meditation. Love means the art of being with other people. Meditation means the art of being with yourself. And they are two aspects of one coin. A person who does not know how to be with himself cannot truly relate with other people. And the person who is not capable of being with others will find it difficult to relate to himself, because the art of relating is the same. Whether you relate with others or whether you relate with yourself does not make much difference. It is the same art. And both these arts have to be learned together.